So, I'll lead you through a short body scan to relax, let go of any tension there may be in the body. And then we'll have some silent meditation for a while. You can meditate on the breath or whatever practice you would like to do. So that'll be for maybe 15 minutes. And then I'll lead a meditation, a guided meditation related to the topic of today's talk by Venerable Children, just to get our minds into that frame. So you can imagine the Buddha in front of you, or just think of the statue of the Buddha that's behind me, and try to feel the presence of the Buddha. So it's hard to really know what that would feel like, but Buddha being somebody whose mind is completely pure, free of all negative thoughts and attitudes like anger, greed, and ignorance about the way things exist. So all such attitudes have been totally eliminated from the Buddha's mind. And there's only positive qualities, universal, unconditional love and compassion for all living beings. Each one of us, so each and every one of us is the object of the Buddha's compassion and love, and it's similar to love that parents, mothers and fathers feel for their children, but millions of times stronger and more pure than that. And it's always on. I mean, Buddha's compassion and love is always there for us. He's always aware of us and ready to help us and completely dedicated to helping us. So it's good to try to feel that, to feel you're in the presence of somebody who has no negative attitudes like anger, greed, selfishness, and only pure, altruistic, positive qualities for us and everybody else, and is there to help us. So yeah, if you can, imagine that, feel that. So whenever we meditate or do other kinds of spiritual activities, like listening to Dharma teachings, reading Dharma books, and so on, it's always ideal to have a positive, altruistic motivation for the things that we're doing. So some of you may have already generated such a motivation earlier today. You can just refresh that, remind yourself of that positive motivation. And if you haven't already done so, then just bring into your mind whatever positive thoughts you're able to have towards yourself and all other beings, wishing to bring benefit, to not harm, to help in a long-term way, in a spiritual way, helping yourself and others to reach higher states of mind, such as enlightenment, or at least greater compassion and love and wisdom, so that we, in our lives and our actions, do what's beneficial and meaningful, and are able to avoid doing things that are harmful, that just bring more suffering to ourselves and others. So using your own thoughts, your own ideas, words, then generate a positive motivation for being here and doing the things that we're doing here today. And then when we meditate, it's helpful if we can be as relaxed as possible in our body and in our mind. So let's just do a brief body scan to see if there's any tension anywhere in the body and to let go of that tension as much as possible. So you can either start at the top of your head and go down, or start at your feet, your toes, and go up. But just mentally scan your body, kind of with your awareness. Go through your body and see if you notice any spots of tension, tightness. If you do find any, then briefly focus at that place and let go of the tension. Sometimes it's enough just to say to yourself, relax, and that place will relax. Or another helpful technique is to imagine breathing into that place. So as you're inhaling, imagine the breath going to that spot and releasing the tension. So just do that on your own. Just briefly, quickly going through your body, relaxing, releasing any tension you may find. And to relax the mind, just let your mind, your awareness be in the present, right here, right now. Although that's difficult to do, there's always thoughts popping up about things that happened earlier today, yesterday, and so on in the past. Or thoughts about the future, plans you have for later today, tonight, tomorrow, next week. It's hard to stop those thoughts from popping up in the mind. But if they do come up, just be aware of them and realize that they are the past or the future and not the present. So put them aside. You can always pick them up again later if you need to. But for now, really do the best you can to keep your mind in the present moment, present place, and with your body and mind in the present situation. So for the first part of this session, feel free to do whatever meditation you would like to do. If you don't have one, a preference, you can be aware of the breath, being aware of your breathing coming in and going out. So you can focus at whatever place you are able to feel the breath most clearly and easily. Sometimes at the nostrils or in the abdomen or the chest. And just let the breath be natural. Don't control it, manipulate it in any way. Just let your body breathe as it normally does. And just try to be fully aware of each inhalation of the breath and each exhalation of the breath and any pause there may be in between. And if the mind wanders away, which it probably will, it will get distracted by thoughts that come up in your mind or sounds that you hear in the room or outside or other feelings in your body. So other things might take your attention away from your breathing. That's normal. Don't be surprised. But when you notice that's happened, just gently and patiently let go of that other object that has distracted your attention and bring it back to the breath. And even if you have to do this again and again, bringing your attention back to your breathing, remain patient with yourself and try not to get upset, discouraged. That itself is meditation. Coming back to the breath when the mind wanders away is itself meditation. So don't get discouraged and think, oh, this is too hard. I can't do this. It's not working. Just feel that you are meditating. You are doing something useful, something beneficial by noticing when your mind gets distracted and bringing it back to your object of meditation. And you can count your breaths. That's helpful. You can count up to 5 or up to 10, or whatever number you wish. Just keep counting in rounds of 5 or 10. So that is a helpful way of staying with the breath and keeping track of your mind, where your mind is. So do that for a while, and then I'll ring the bell softly before we start the next part of the meditation, which will be a guided practice. So the topic of today's talk will be apologizing and forgiving. So let's do some reflection on this idea of forgiveness, something that's often hard to do. So bring to mind a time, a situation when you got upset at another person for something they did. For example, they didn't live up to your expectations. They broke a promise they made. They did something you found unacceptable. They did something that hurt you very much or harmed other people that you cared about. And you found it very challenging to forgive this person, even if they expressed regret and offered an apology. And instead, for a while at least, you held on to anger and resentment and kept a distance from them. And that might still be the case even now, even a long time after the original incident. So see if you can recall such a situation, and then explore that mind of non-forgiveness, of holding on to anger and resentment. What is the quality of that mind? Is it peaceful and pleasant, or is it disturbed and painful? See if you can imagine what it would be like to be free of those kinds of thoughts and feelings of non-forgiveness. Is that something you would like to do? A place you would like to get to? It's helpful to recognize that holding on to anger and resentment and non-forgiveness makes ourselves suffer. So we're making ourselves suffer by not letting go of these thoughts and feelings. It's a bit like holding on to something in our hands that's hot and painful, and even though we're feeling the pain of this hot thing in our hands, we just can't let it go. that in fact we can let go of these painful thoughts and feelings. We don't have to hold on to them. We do have a choice. One reason it can be hard to forgive is because we think, but what that person did was wrong. They shouldn't have done it. And we may think that in order to forgive them, we have to give up that idea. We have to stop thinking that what they did was wrong. But that's not true. We can continue to maintain the view that the person's behavior was wrong, harmful, unethical, or whatever, and we can still forgive them. Forgiving doesn't mean saying, well, what you did was fine, no problem. Forgiving means deciding to stop being angry about it. We realize that anger doesn't help anybody. It only causes suffering for oneself and for other people who might be around when we're venting our anger. Also, the great Indian master Chandrakirti wrote in one of his texts that being angry about something that already happened in the past will not undo what was done. What was done already happened. We can't go back and change it. So continuing to be angry about that is quite useless. So see if that makes sense to you, and see if you can feel the wish to let go of anger. So if you do feel that way, here's some suggested thoughts you could bring into your mind, but feel free to change the words and the ideas to ones that are more comfortable for you. So you can think, that person did things that were wrong and harmful. But I understand that all of us ordinary, unenlightened beings have disturbing emotions in our mind that we can't always control. Sometimes they arise in a really strong way and take over our mind, and we do stupid things. So this is something that happens to all of us, because at this point in time we lack wisdom and mindfulness and have strong negative habits. I myself have done stupid things. So I know what that's like. I've been there, done that. So it is with this person. They probably feel regret for what they did, even if they don't show it. But deep in their mind, they probably do have awareness that they did the wrong thing, that they caused harm to others. But maybe another afflictive emotion, pride, arrogance, is stopping them from showing it. And I can't change anybody else. I can't change other people's minds. I can only change my own. If I continue to be angry and hold on to resentment, that doesn't help anyone and just makes things worse. So I'll try my best to let go of these and learn to forgive. And eventually, I might even be able to feel compassion for this person and want to help them. So even if you're not at the point right now where you're able to do that, you might be able to feel the wish to reach that point at some time in the future, to learn forgiveness. And finally, as a conclusion to the meditation, check how it felt to contemplate in this way. And if it does seem like a wiser and more satisfying way of dealing with difficult people you get upset at, including politicians and public figures, then make the resolution to try to adopt these kinds of thoughts and work towards forgiveness. And let's just mentally dedicate the positive energy of doing this meditation before we have a break. So you can just think to yourself, by the merit, the positive energy from doing this meditation, may it help myself and all other beings to overcome anger and other afflictive emotions, and to increase positive emotions like compassion and love, wisdom and forgiveness.